The blues scale is ubiquitous. It's one of the first scales taught to improvisers, and it's usually taught as a hexatonic scale made of the scale degrees 1, minor 3, perfect 4, augmented 4 or diminished 5, perfect 5, and minor 7. On C, the scale is C, E flat, F, F sharp, G, B flat, C. As far as scales go, it's an odd one though. It's missing scale degree 2 and 6, and it's got two types of 4 or 5, depending on how you spell it. Sometimes it's described as merely the minor pentatonic scale with an added tritone from the root, which could explain away the oddness, but the Wikipedia page on the blues scale actually lists 3 versions, which only make the situation weirder. One is the hexatonic scale, mentioned already. The second is a heptatonic scale, whose scale degrees are 1, major 2, minor 3, perfect 4, diminished 5, major 6, and minor 7. That scale is maybe most easily described as the second mode of the harmonic major scale. 1, major 2, major 3, perfect 4, perfect 5, minor 6, major 7. On C, that's C, D, E flat, F, G flat, A, B flat, C. Note the characteristic augmented second in those scales, which is enharmonic with the minor third in standard Western tuning. What if the minor thirds in the blues scale aren't thirds at all, and are instead augmented seconds? We'll get back to that question soon. The third version of the blues scale on Wikipedia is a nonatonic scale, whose scale degrees are 1, major 2, minor 3, major 3, perfect 4, perfect 5, major 6, minor 7, and major 7. Notice in this scale how a point is made to include the minor and major third, and minor and major 7th, as if one might use them not just interchangeably, as is the case for the ascending and descending melodic minor, but one after the other, which is a melodic rarity. What if these augmented unisons, the interval between the minor version of a pitch class and the major one, weren't augmented unisons at all, but were instead minor seconds? As it turns out, both of our what-ifs work together to help make more sense of the blues scale. If we take our standard spelling of the hexatonic blues scale of C, E flat, F, F sharp, G, B flat, C, and replace the minor thirds with augmented seconds, we arrive at C, D sharp, F, F sharp, G, A sharp, C. Having done that, adding in the major 7th from the nonatonic version makes sense melodically since it's preceded by a type of 6th. This gives us C, D sharp, F, F sharp, G, A sharp, B, C. This scale is starting to look, on paper anyway, more and more like a regular scale. The only problem is the lack of a third and the presence of 2/4. Those two problems have the same solution. Spell the degree that comes third in the scale as an actual third. This final adjustment leaves us with a spelling of C, D sharp, E sharp, F sharp, G, A sharp, B, C, which makes sense from a theoretical point of view. Each generic pitch class is represented. And there is, of course, room for variation which could lead to a scale more similar to the second or third scale listed on Wikipedia. A common interjection at this point may be, so what, or who cares? You could argue that all we did was add a major 7 to the regular blues scale, and then spell it with a bunch of weird accidentals so that it had one of each letter name. And yes, that's effectively what happened. But there are two important consequences of doing so. One is that, in conceptualizing the blues scale this way, a player or composer may be inspired to treat it differently. Would it lead to an objectively better treatment, if such an objective standard even existed? I don't know, and don't really care. What matters is that this is, at the very least, a new perspective, and the arts will never be worse off for a new perspective. The second consequence is related to the fact that, when not playing in standard Western tuning, notes that we call enharmonic equivalents are not actually equivalent. That is to say, they have different pitches. This fact is reflected in historical Western tunings, where 12-tone keyboards were retuned depending on what keys were going to be played in. There were even several organs with split black keys, one for each enharmonic. The blues scale will sound very different in these other tunings depending on how you spell it. In harmonically accurate tunings, our new spelling may better approximate the blue notes used in practice with its especially flat augmented second, augmented third, and augmented 6th. Here's the blues scale in quarter comma mean tone tuning, first played using the standard spelling of the blues scale, and then played using the new spelling, first without the added 7th, and now with it. Finally, it's played with the standard rhythmic treatment for a 7-note scale. For a more thorough treatment of this new scale, check out the piece in my last video, 31-tone mean tone tutorial, starting at 3 minutes and 23 seconds. The way these scales function differently in tunings where the spellings make an audible difference may have bearing on what's going on under the hood when we play the blues scale in standard Western tuning. What do you think?